All right, hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. So I have Kipster for a few minutes, and then I think Melissa's going to be finished. Kip, you're all over the place. There we go. All right, so girl's homesick today. Again, I guess. I don't know. She's, doing her thing. And Kip's in here, so we will see how it goes. Anyway, some decent movement over the last 24 hours. Retail sales numbers came in, said that basically adjustments. The main retail sales number was like, oh, look at it, it's flat, right? It's flat, it's red. Well, yeah, but there was a nice little adjustment last time as well. I mean, it was supposed to be a negative forecast, came in at 0.3. It actually, in reality, it's been 0.4. It was actually even higher. So the fact that it is red after an adjustment, not a big deal. But the core retail number, not as bad. It was supposed to be -3. Actually came in as 0.1, right? So not as bad as what it was, and then it was even higher than what the forecast was. So yeah, people are still spending right now. So again, it's foot down to the accelerator, right, for those raises. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've been here all week, but on a different device. Thanks. Jeff, you weren't putting in. There has been no tickets this week, Jeff. We were talking about you actually 2 days ago. I was like, where the heck is Jeff? All right, so decent movement. You see the pound. The pound was actually, it was up huge yesterday. At one point, it was up like 200-300 or something like that. When I looked at it, I was like, wow, big movement. But right now, again, Aussie dollar, you're looking at the Aussie, it's like, whoa, look at this, up 100. Yeah, like that's a nice move. Dollar CAD, we talked about dollar CAD being very high, starting to get short. 166 down in the last 24 hours. So again, great movement there. Dollar again, still up a little bit, right? Still up. Come here, Kip. That's a pretty decent mover, right? It's still moving. But again, it's if you are not sensitive to the interest rates, not a bad thing, right? Euro dollar, pound dollar, decent. Getting a little dollar weakness out there. Here's something that just came through. I missed this. No need for massive strikes in Ukraine now. That's for now, but we'll see the direct clash of NATO troops with Russia would lead to global. Yeah. If NATO troops get in there, yes, that would be bad. Over such corridors. What is it? Turns out the humanitarian corridors for Ukraine are used for terror acts. Then there's no need for such corridors. No plans for additional military mobilization in Russia. Next 2 weeks, mobilization will be over. Okay. With respect to their position, but we need to know that Kiev decided to not proceed with talks. We're open to talks, as we've always said. Yeah, this is good. I mean, what was the thing right here? Russia's, yeah. So again, it's kind of, I don't know, we'll see how it turns out here. Not really much. I mean, I guess it's good. Talking about somewhat of an end in sight. That's always good. That the mobilization will be done in 2 weeks. Mini budget terminal. Announced mini budget U-turn. Wait, hold on. Remember yesterday she said there's no more U-turns? Remember that? Remember we talked about that yesterday? She said no more U-turns? A mini budget U-turn today. Huh. I swear she just said yesterday that there was no more U-turns. But I guess that's not necessarily the truth. Keep hearing foot stomps, but it's Jen walking back and forth. Expected Chinese CPI came in exactly as expected. All right, I love it. Real U.S. they tumbled again. I don't know about tumbled, but yeah. All right, so tomorrow, Saturday, there is actually some, not news, but obviously some things of high importance. Bailey is speaking tomorrow, right? Delivering opening remarks at an international banking seminar in Washington, D.C. Whether or not that moves the markets, again, it's a weekend, so we'll see how what the reaction is. Again, I think that the bigger speech would be this one. A panel discussion about inflation. So panel discussion, many people there, but we all know Bullard is kind of he's the super hawk, right? And again, everybody's like, oh, they need to keep raising. He's been saying this since January. So, yeah. So Bullard definitely understands what's going on. So I think there's probably some glints here about how people should be playing it versus what they're actually doing. But again, this could lead to some movement on Sunday night because of these two guys speaking. So it's very rare that we see anything on a Saturday. And again, they're just speeches, so it's not, they're not economic news releases, per se, but at the same time, I guess they kind of are, right? I guess they kind of are. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I want to say they are, but at the same time, I'm going to be like, not so much, right? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Um, and obviously, Sunday night, not a whole lot going on. All right. Um, yeah, I mean, it's setting up for a very, very interesting weekend. Yeah, I mean, again, we don't get that kind of stuff, so kind of interested to see where it is. Kind of see how it all kind of levels out for the week. Now VIX is down, and again after yesterday's data, yeah, we kind of expected the VIX to crank back again. We knew it was high, it was starting to falter, and that the CPI was really the big one that everybody was looking for. Again, retail sales not as big of a thing. Again, quick crash yesterday, and again, we should see it continue to deteriorate down again. And again, not necessarily supply and demand based device, but there is something going on around 30. If it was an actual something, a good service, something you go buy, I would say 30 would be a bounce point. Wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to there, right? Particularly with comments, coming from Putin talking about how mobilization will end. That should also help artificially lower this as well. So not necessarily bad, but VIX down, everything in the green. I think retail sales could have been much more aggressive than it was. Could have been much worse, but it wasn't. In reality, it kind of somewhat came in line with what I think expectations were. Shows that people aren't slowing down, but I think at this point everybody's in agreement, right? So let's go. And again, look at this dollar. Again, lots of whips also. Yesterday, again, was that peak, and then boom, just crashed and kind of came back across. Dollar technically is up, but down from where it was kind of basing yesterday. And you're seeing all the commodities deep in the red, right? So Aussie dollar is the first one. So Aussie, we took this really, really big spike down, and I mentioned yesterday about this could be necessarily a bottom. I was really hoping we get down to 61.37. I had some alerts down here. And unfortunately, that 10:30 window, kind of that big slam down again, that 10:30, again, it did not go below. It kind of opened where the red was. But right around in here, you're like, oh, God, look at that. We're breaking through the top side of it. There's that parabolic move. So at the end of the day, we ended up closing over here. So what did it do? Parabolic move down because of news, a parabolic retracement all the way back up again, and we're basically right where we started. From where we were pre-news tomorrow, and again, I know I do the 24-hour change, but here's where the news started. Here's where we are now. It's 8 pips different, right? 8 pips basically from the news yesterday to where we are right now. That's not too shabby, right? Could be much, much worse, right? Jen is running through the hallway, and it sounds like Melissa. I'm like, oh, is Melissa grabbing Kip? Nope, not so much. Yeah. Just keep hearing this thump, 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 and it's Jen. Anyway, we did mark off that again we did have sellers, and we always need to readjust. I didn't readjust it yesterday. I was really kind of just trying to play the retracement on there. Had you gone back to this new level here, you can see that it would have been close. You may or may have gotten stopped out again, but it kind of gave you that red, green, red right here, and then continue to push lower. And in reality, it kind of turned. You would expect buyers to come in right here, and they did. Buyers did it again and again. But right now. We are kind of set up in a racetrack, right? We're sitting in there. We've hit it once. We've pushed it deep again. We're pushing it again. And we have this move right here, which, again, is a racetrack, right? So we kind of have something set up like this. And all this is dollar strength rolling back into the market. And you can see how much room it really has to run to the downside. So not too bad. Look at that, Debbie. Thank you for subscribing, Debbie. 33 months in a row. Look at that. Does that seem strange, Debbie? It's almost, it's not quite there yet, but it's almost 3 years, right? Isn't it amazing? Melissa and I were talking about like the channel and stuff like that yesterday. And, I was debating changing times around and, and I was like, she's like, but you love doing chart schools. I was like, I do. I was like, I love the community I've built. I love talking to the people. She's like, you've been doing it for a while too. I was like, yeah. 33 months. Look at that. 33 months. Almost 3 years we've been meeting in the mornings. That's awesome. Yeah. So again, nice little racetrack here. We may or may not get the pullback. The big question is, will we be able to stomach this through the 10:30 reversal? And I think so. None of the news today was, horrible dollar or anything like that, right? Um, I wouldn't say any of it was necessarily bad. I would miss you. I know. Yeah, well, we talked about it, because it's like you always want to keep it, keep stuff fresh. And remember too, I mean, this opening hour, there's so many trade setups. So it's one of those things that's kind of like I don't trade live, obviously, on the channel, right? I can't focus on Kip, I can't focus on the screen, and I can't focus on the chart and the streaming software all at the same time. I feel like I'm too distracted for it. It's great that the people that do, but obviously I take it much more serious. So yeah. So it's kind of like she's like, well, you could do more during that time. I was like, I could, but I really miss everybody in the morning, and I like doing it in the morning to kind of set up the day. Versus, I don't know, I could always, I guess, jump it forward. I could go like 8:30 to 9:30 maybe, but then the problem is if I go 8:30 to 9:30 for West Coast people, I feel like I may lose a couple of our long-time members here, right? Because that's like 5:30 in the morning. I don't know, Marina, are you awake at 5:30 in the morning? Marina may not be awake at 5:30 in the morning. I don't know. It's kind of those West Coasters that I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like an ideal time for everybody, you know. And it catches that reversal time. I don't know. It's always hard. I always try to figure out how to make it better, juggle it around. Jen goes to big school next year, so it's like, maybe that makes it a little easier. Drop her at the bus and go. And I could like move it forward a little bit. So I don't know. It's always like, it's like threading a needle, right? I don't mind the nighttime ones too, but obviously there's less attendance because there's less people watching. So I don't know. Anyway, nice little short here. And again, this is kind of, here was the last one that got smashed through. We'll remove it and we'll just kind of take this and bring it across. All right. So that's what we're looking for right now on the Aussie dollar. Aussie yen, kind of the same thing. And again, we went up and grabbed the 61.8. There's a few levels up there. It ended up grabbing it, and it ended up needing, and again, this is a weird one. Zone wise, it's funny. I think actually this is the one is that the one that held? No, it ended up going through that one. It was another one that I was like, oh god, it was an old one from back here where we had the shorts. So we know we have a kind of a longer time frame 50. It didn't make it up that far. It was more the short term 61.8, and this would have scared a lot of 68 traders or 618 traders. It pulled back and then it kind of went in, right? And then may have stopped them out and pushed through and then kind of messed with them and came back up again. So kind of a scary one for those guys. Excuse me, more near term, you would have had adjusted to the high over here about 2 o'clock in the morning. So, we mentioned that we had a step and we had another step and another step and another step and another step and another step. Depends on the news releases. She's like, I don't know. I don't always wake up early in the morning. I do sometimes, but yeah. Yeah, and Marina, that's the thing is it's kind of like, I like the 8:30 releases because again, there's a lot of 8:30 releases I can trade. I love the news aspect of it. So the question is if I did move it to 8:30 to 9:30, would I still be able to trade the news releases or not? Because I do love my news releases. Not gonna lie, I really like those news releases. So, yeah, be a hard one. Anyway, this one I would say this has a similar racetrack scenario. Let's go ahead and move it forward and just kind of set it up. I don't know if we're gonna get to this one today or if we're gonna have enough time. We'd marked it off before. It's a decent runner going from this 92 level down. You're seeing it's about 87 pips. Kind of like this one for next week. Right now, we're only the 61s. We can't remove it yet, but I'll just pull this one off and let's take this one up top. And you can see it's not an entry, just so everybody knows, it's not an entry. Before you think, oh my god, look at that, it entered. No, it didn't. It missed it by just a little bit, by a few pips. So it's not an entry. That's not an entry there. So I don't want anybody to think that one is. It's a front run. You missed it by a little bit. But I like this one. There is the base here too, and you may look at this and say, well, wait a second, are we in one right now? Yes, there is a base there. It's spent a lot of time there. It's hit it again. This is hit number 3 or hit number 4, depending on how you want to count it. Problem is, this is a decent level here, and there's enough of a run behind it. So, I mean, we could always get the pop down, and that's probably where it'll bounce off of and come back up again. Thing is, it's Friday, right? Are we going to have enough time to come down, base in here, come across, grab it again, and then be able to smash through it again? Because it may go off that level once or twice. So I'd much rather kind of see it come down in base, and it may not do it till Sunday night. But I think we look for this one to come back into this 91.50 for next week. So, it's there, right? It's there. I don't know. I like the Aussie dollar one better. I think the dollar's better to play on versus the yen at this point. All right, euro dollar. So euro dollar, lots of chop. So we're looking for kind of a top. And again, here was that news trade yesterday, and then again, there's the parabolic move right back up again. If you adjust this across to there, you can see that again, we just literally news drove it up. We hit the area and rolled back down again. So there was a quick news trade in there, and you could have taken this one obviously in the overnight. This piece right here. Here is your European Open right here on this red candle. It's the red candle, the second one. Nice push down, and all we did was kind of push back to a 50% retracement. So right now, looking at this, there is obviously an area right here. When you see the wicks, popping up like that, particularly news-wise, you got to think, hey, listen, there's probably something in there. I'd agree. I'd say that there is probably something there as well. Is that going to be the end-all, be-all, hold for the day? Kind of more torn on that one. It's all right. It's okay. Any other time I would be like, yep, that's a good one. I like that one. But, with a pushback down, I think right now what I'm looking for on this one is I'm looking for this one to continue to deteriorate with dollar strength coming in through the day. And I'd really like to see what happens here. Again, we have not gotten an entry here. A quick spike below it because of news is obviously not an entry for Harry Potter. We have very defined rules with it. Got to see where it goes. So I think that this Harry Potter is still pretty valid. Again, the fact that it did break through, I do like that one. I'm all over that. I think that's great. But I like to see what it does this for Sunday. I really want to see some type of a basing in here. I want to see it chop up whatever we got. I mean, for some reason, if we grind down and it ends here and we gap lower into it, then yeah, I'm all over it. But I'd like to see this kind of come down, and I'd like to see this one break through 96. What is it? 96.36, and then come back down and tag this 95.60 range. I was afraid to short it at 3 or 4. The 3. Yeah, I would be too. On this one? You're talking about this stuff? No, I mean, really, once this established a new high, you kind of got to redraw it, but you can still use this prior one here from yesterday morning. This touch here, so all this in here, you don't look at as much, right? Because this is the Asian session. So the Asian session is not as big of a deal. But when you're looking at something like this, where it came up and touched it at 230, 230 is where the European market steps in, right? So typically what you're going to do is you're going to have big movement in one of the three sessions, Euro session, or London session. I should say London. It's called the London session, not the Euro session, right? But typically what you're going to see is major movement typically in the London or the US session. The Asian session is kind of more of a reset because there's not as many players in that one. You can get some Australian news, and that's kind of where those like 9, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time trades come in at because it's Australian news. But the volume is so much lower compared to the other two sessions. But the day is considered starting with the European session. So something like this where it's like, oh, look, we hit it at 11:30 p.m. There's not really a lot of volume there. So because it established kind of a new high there and then kind of push back again, you could take that and kind of readjust this because the reality is if that was your old top, it broke through. So when you move it forward and say, hey, listen, was there a decent push off that? You could say, yeah, there was a decent push and it just rallied up at 2 o'clock this morning. And you may say, okay, well, let's go back. Why did it rally at 2 o'clock this morning? Right? What was it? What was it? It was German data right here. Right? So when you look at that, you're like, oh my God, that's great. That's super strong. But is it stronger than where the top of the dollar is? Not really. I mean, it's a yellow release. So, I mean, yeah, it provided a short-term burst. But is it really going to change that much? No, not really. So, again, it pushed off. So maybe you entered the trade here. You could have absolutely traded it here. But that also confirmed kind of at a news time that there was sellers sitting in that area. So you could have potentially taken it one more time. And this is why I love charts, right? Here's your European Open right there, right? This one right here is our 9 o'clock window, right? So it's basically when like the U.S. trader, like retail traders like, 9:30. I mean, 9:30 was really here, but here's our 8:30 news. Punch this in, and it's probably pretty good. Let's see, how close was it? Yeah, 9:10. So it's 20 minutes before the U.S. market opens. So it's the U.S. trader coming online that starts to smash it back down again. And same thing, the 3 o'clock candle is right here, right? You can see how close it was to that area. So again, London banks, U.S. banks, right? Pre-market. So, yeah. So you could have taken that one, right? And you're out. I don't need the jolt. You guys can all see that it's well past 1 to 3 at this point, right? All right. So, again, I'd like this one down. Again, it's nice. The euro has already talked about raising once. The dollar is at least doing it twice. Yeah, and Jeff, the big one on this one was like when it pushed down, this is where like the European market's like, yeah. And then the European market got in, took advantage of the news, right? And the news wasn't necessarily bad, but it raised it up, stopped everybody out, and then it's kind of resuming its course, right? So resuming its path back. All right. So yeah, look for that one to come down. Euro. So euro pound. So euro again, we just chop. And this one, and this is crazy. Really no movement. I mean, the 3 o'clock candle is right there. You can see it kind of drove right before news and then popped back down again, but pretty stable in there, right? And you can see that it came down in the same level we drew before it. It tagged it at 530. I mean, is that really a 530 reversal? It's kind of weird. It's probably more profit taking, but at 530, people were trying to get out. I mean, look at this. This big spike down, that's the 530 candle, right? 530, 45 pips. It opened and closed the exact same spots. I mean, it literally shot down, came back up, and then continued its movement, which I think is justified. So for this one, we mentioned it yesterday. I'm looking at the 61.8. There is a little bit of a hiccup here around the 50, but I think it should be able to break through. It should be. I would say look for 78.52 as a potential rollover. And the only reason why is because it did kind of come up, based, and then boom, it came down hard. And it is a 61.8. So it's got a lot of the ingredients. It's got a lot of the ingredients you need for the short. And I think it's far enough away. It's another 67 pips. I don't think it's going up 67 pips and then in the next 2 hours dropping another 45? That'd be 100 pips into that's a lot on a Friday afternoon with 2 hours to go, right? That'd be a 50 pip ATR. The 4 hour is only 45, so it's not even there. It's not even enough. So yeah. All right. So yeah, same trade setup. Look for this one to tag 87.52, particularly if we can have it gap into there over the weekend on Sunday night. I think that's great. Love it. Euro yen. Again, not really much movement from yesterday. Yesterday, once we had the spike come in at like 11 o'clock, we're here. And we're kind of right at that same spot. So, the nice thing is the 78 is broken, so we can take this, erase it, reset it. Whoops. We can reset this one, kind of the lows here, and set it back up for kind of the highs of the week. Now, I will say there is an interesting, and look at this old level. Look at support right there. I will say I'm going to delete this one only because I love this as a bottom. I love how this pushed. I love how it was a little bit of not a doji, but pretty close, right? Equal wicks on top and bottom. Standard base is only about 30%, and then boom, it spiked off of it. It's also sitting here right at the 23. So look at this. Boom, boom, and then went through. I have to mark that off because that's probably going to be something next week. This may be a Sunday target for us. All right. All right. Can we get enough of a pullback? I feel like yes. I don't know if it'll sneak in today. That's a hard one. Oh, it's 45 pips down. Yeah, I don't know if we can go the 45, grab it and go. If we can, man, I think it can go down. I just don't know if we can get enough movement to come down and grab this one and go back higher. Oh, it's moving now. What was the news? What is the consumer confidence? Come on. Give me the consumer confidence. That's good. That's good. But it's obviously strong dollar. Ooh, 5.1. Hmm. So what this shows me is, again, the consumer still feels good. They're still spending money. Feels good, right? Right. But this 5.1, it's like, right? And you guys are unfamiliar with this one. The percentage of consumers expect the price of goods and services to change, right? Again, based off inflation. Um, hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's messing with the indices now. Look at all the indices. Whoops. Whoops. Yeah. Um, that would be why we're seeing yen strength. Well, with that said, so if this was like a Wednesday, something like that, I do like this for kind of a short through here. I think we will probably get a little bit of a bounce. Again, you can see the 23 people are already kind of kicking into it. I'm curious to see. This is one of those ones that, you got to hate Fridays, right? So, again, I'm assuming that that's probably what we're going to see. But if we can, let's see, can it fit? Can it fit? Oh, it's so close. It's right there. Oh, that's so close. Mm-mm. Very interesting setup. Here's why. Friday, 23.6 is involved. There's a level here. I love this. I think this is great. I mean, it went off at 9 or 8:30. I do like that area a real lot. Again, everybody gets into the 23.6. It gets them a little bit in the heat, maybe stops them out, and then continues the direction. But I also do like this for any type of a drop. Can we get the drop in the base in there like we want? It is only really kind of our first hit. It is a new fresh level, so it definitely can go off of here once or twice. But I do think we extend this across and maybe carry this into the weekend, that if we do break through 93, I'm sorry, 93. Yeah, it's Friday. 143.50. You can see we have a 1 to 3 running this all the way back down into a 50% retracement level. So I think that that's a decent setup there. When we break through that 143.50 all the way down to the 142, that's a decent runner. Can't say that I am against that one. When it comes through, remember, it's we are if this then that. So yeah. God, why can't it be like Wednesday? Make it a Wednesday. I like that one. I just don't know if it's gonna happen on Friday. So set your alerts. Maybe this one goes through. But if we can't break this by Sunday night and we start basing in here, I think this could be a Sunday night trade. Hopefully the yen doesn't intervene like on a Saturday. Be like, yep, we're releasing everything, and then it like gaps all the way down here. That would suck. But it could happen. Pound dollar. So pound dollar, very similar. You can see there was the quick bounce off this one yesterday. Right, that 8 o'clock area. We talked about it yesterday morning, kind of bouncing off these levels, and it did. It rolled back again. So, that trade is out. Obviously, when we make the adjustment forward, this is what this one looks like. And again, if it's way too much risk for you, obviously shorten it and just do it over here. Right. Just use this kind of new level. Looks very, very similar to what we saw in the euro. Again, new formation late last night, came back up, and at 3 o'clock, it's when it hit, right? Because again, start of the new session rollover, and boom, push right back down. And what's it doing? It's bouncing right off where you expect the buyers to come in at. So at this point, you should have been out of your trade. This is what it should have looked like. And again, if you're trading this one at the European Open, which again, it's a very, very hard life for East Coasters. If I was a West Coaster, like if I lived actually West Coaster or lived in Vancouver, I would absolutely trade this. I would just stay up till midnight and then trade it, and then adjust my day. I would have such horrible. I would have such horrible sleeping habits if we lived in Vancouver. I'd be up till midnight every night. I'd absolutely trade it, but I will tell you, for East Coasters, it is rough. I've done it. I've tried to do it and be like, you know what, I'm just going to do this and I'll sleep. But with taking care of Kip during the day, maybe when he goes to school, maybe when I actually send him to daycare and don't have to juggle, maybe I'll go back to it. But man, anybody that does trade it or can trade it, more power to you. It's it's a great time to trade. This one is out, and again, your profit target at a maximum level should have been down here. You just touched it right now. We saw them stepping in. In reality, you should have probably taken it off. Not to get greedy. At that level, it was a 1 to 3.5. So, could you have held it to the opposing zone? Yeah, but I mean, I guess that here is where you're like, oh god, that's where the last buyer stepped in, and that's a 1 to 4.1. So, I know, right? This stuff actually makes me look forward to money, but only a little bit. Yeah, Sunday nights are fun. It's hard with the little ones. Like again, juggling 4 kids back and forth with everything going on. It's obviously been a little bit harder for me to to trade Sunday nights. I try my best, but I do love, like, when the kids are finally asleep, I love looking to see where things are. So much can happen over the weekend, and it's really one of those things. I mean, setting up your trading week, if you already haven't done it, Sunday night's an awesome time to do it. And again, you draw new fibs on things because, again, a lot of those are, currency does have a lot of technical sides of things. So a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, you guys are out of this one. I'm not going to say take a bounce off of it. Yeah, it's 10:30. I guess if you really, really want to. I mean, it's an area with confirmed buyers at 10 o'clock. It may have already left the area just a little bit too soon. But, I mean, it's an all right level. It's already been hit, you could say once or twice here, and then once kind of front right here. So you are starting to push it a little bit deep. Looking for this one next week as well, and I think this one absolutely happens. A breakthrough of 110.15 all the way down. So again, here's another one on the watch list. You know what I should do? So the newsletter is one of those things. There's some things, and like I have on the newsletter right now, I have like the events opened up. The biggest quality events. What I do is I go through the Forex Factory list for the week. And this is open free so everybody can see it. And I really pick the best ones that I'm looking at for news trade setups and have that there. There's more up there. Obviously, you can go here and go like this, and it's like, oh, here's all the news releases. But I only kind of pick the ones that I really necessarily care about for the week, and put those on there. And then there's like the summary section. The summary section's hard. I'll typically add a little bit to it. And then those are the 2 open sections. I have the lock sections. And the lock sections are basically the curve, which is my overall bias for the weekly, and then for like the weekly based trades. And then I have like the high quality levels, which are kind of the intraday setups, which are more set up for like swing trading. But what I was and like the idea, and you guys can help me with this, right? You guys are my loyal, the loyal group. I'm always struggling to figure out how to make it better. The other one I was thinking about doing was maybe Sunday night. Maybe when we have things like this that are like watch list, right? Watch list trades. Because again, Sunday night gaps, I do the best to be back for that. But sometimes, obviously, with the boys' activities, I'm not at my house for the Sunday night gap, so it's hard for me to do those. But maybe I put like the prior week watch list or something like that. Like I don't have time to update it every day. Right. But what if I put like Sunday nights? Like, how would you guys feel? Like things like this is not going to trigger today, but I still do like this zone for next week for Harry Potter trading here. And again, I love the setup here. It's got plenty of room in. But what if I set these up as like prior week watch list? Would that be something you guys think would be beneficial to make the newsletter better? Let me know what you guys think about that one. Because like I said, a lot of these just sit here and we come back. It's like, yep, there we go. Boom. It triggered Sunday night, but we weren't here. We didn't talk about it. Just kind of setting up a watch list, right? Prior week watch list of like, because I could update that on Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, so I would have time to do it. So it gives me 2.5 days to update this versus like the Sunday night gap where it's like I have to be home at the open market, right? Which is not always the easiest. Food for thought. Let me know what you guys think. All right, pound yen. So pound yen, we can extend this up a little bit higher. You can see this one also put the same top that we've talked about in multiple things. This one gave us a little bit of a reversal at 6 o'clock, and again, sitting up in a level, open at 3 o'clock, drove back down. Again, it did hit the 23, got some sellers in, and it's starting to crash through. So here's the Harry Potter from yesterday, and funny, look at this. Just happens to be at the 23.6 and also gave resistance today, but we'll remove it now. There was a short from yesterday. I would say right now, the 50 is still a level that I want to look out for. Look at that. Profit taking came right in, right where it was exposed to. There's where profit taking should have occurred. That line's not straight, and that will drive me nuts. Oh, it is actually. Look at that. It is. Maybe I'm not straight. Maybe that was my problem. I'm sitting weird or something. Anyway, it was exactly on, and it literally went right past it where your profit target was supposed to be. I think this is a video that I'm gonna make too. I'm still far behind. I still need to finish the last class. It's like all done. I just need to like finish the last little prep area, but I've had zero time. Um, Zero time without kids is the problem. The sick kids is what's getting me. But I'd say for this one, kind of similar to the Euro Yen, I think this one deteriorates back down again. I would look for a potential pop though down here at 163.78. This is a weekend target. It is a little bit farther away. It's 175 pips, so it's definitely got some room to run before we get there. But I think it's a decent level, and there's two down here, the 163, 162. Both of those are fine. And then again, there's a Harry Potter down here. This is kind of one of those ones on my watch list. And again, I wish, hopefully, hopefully now that Putin is, maybe says that mobilization is done in 2 weeks, hopefully they let let Russian citizens actually conduct, transactions in dollars, and we can get the alert back again. There are other ways that I can kind of send alerts through, but they're a lot more labor intensive than me literally right clicking this one and, me right clicking it and setting it, turning it into alert. It's much better here, just that, versus me doing all the steps that I would have to do. So I don't know. Hopefully, normal Russian citizens can conduct business again after 2 weeks. That would be awesome. Would be great. And then we can have all our alerts back. Dollar CAD. So here is our dollar CAD drawing from yesterday. It sliced all the way through, came all the way down to the 137, and then kind of tagged it and then kind of bounced through. And again, this is one of those things. It hit it yesterday at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock. So you may or may not have gotten in. And then when kind of the overnight, you can see major market European session, major movement in dollar session, and then Asian session kind of flatlined. And then here is your 3 o'clock candle in the morning, right? So, Jeff, back to what you mentioned earlier about, look at that, I wasn't sure to take it with the hits in there. One of the things that you can add in, and again, this one you may, or, if you got in here and we're just holding it, you probably got stopped out on that one. It did go a few pips past the bottom of that target. But, again, a lot of times people will kind of shut these down, right? The close of the market was kind of up here, right? It was like a 1-to-1. I mean, up here you were probably at, I don't know. Let's see. I'll just drag it across. That was in, because again, we formed it from that level. That one made it in. It was at a 2-to-1. So, if you were just setting and forgetting it, you probably got stopped out at a 1-to-1 or something like that. But a lot of times when you see things like this, you're like, okay, listen, this is it's what, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It kind of bounced off of here again, and then we just kind of flatlined. People get nervous with this, right? Some people will say I'm only going to enter once we get into kind of US based sessions or London sessions. This is kind of the end, right? Had you done that, had that been your rule where like, listen, I'm only going to get in for the first 3 hours or 4 hours of each day, because after that, it's kind of all the big volumes out. The trade worked out fine, right? So if anything, you close it down, reopened it, skip the Asian session, you can, set and forget. Again, probably got stopped out a little bit. Right now, I think it's, we're in a good spot because that's where we're at, right? Move that. That one came down like expected. Dollar should be rallying right now. I think I'm okay with this one. I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't, could it be a top? We're hitting at 10.15, the 50%, sure. But I'd like to see some type of a pause and then retracement. My opinion is, I think it's justified to go higher right now. I absolutely think it's justified to go higher. I don't necessarily have any sellers in this one. You can't really see any sellers up here to the 78, but you guys know that I don't really trade off the 78. That's not my thing. I will say I'm going to mark this off as a level here. I do like how there was a big spike and then again 3 ascending wicks on that one, or descending wicks on that one. I am a big fan of those. So that's a level that I'm going to mark off and throw that there. Right, 139.52. Right, I do like that one. Now, I'm not saying that this can't turn and roll today. Again, there will be some profit taking coming in from basically 9 o'clock on. Again, driven down, and now all the dollar strength. And again, U.S. market dollar strength. Totally in agreement with that one. The only reason this would turn would be because profit taking Friday 10:30 reversal. But I'm not willing to step into this one because there's nothing over here. Dollar Swiss. Chop, 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 chop. We're back up to where the highs were from yesterday. You can see the 61.8. Look, that's the level there. And we said this was going to be really sloppy because just both sides of it. And it did. I mean, it bounced in it, right? Pretty sloppy. Your green, red, green was right here and then continued to push. And then your red really didn't. It's still not out. It's still going higher. So I'd say this one's probably got a bit more room to run. I use a little bit of caution. You know, if you are long this one right now, I'd use caution pretty much anywhere up in here. Again, strong. This was able to hold a strong bit of data and gave us ascending candles. So if you are long, you probably want to start getting some profit here around that 10006. Again, particularly with 1030 and these sellers, I don't think I'd want to hold this one much longer. So if you are long, think about taking some profit or at least trailing your stop really, really close. Not too close, but definitely get this sucker trailed up again. You don't want to have this thing come all the way and kick back down to parity for no reason and give up any gains if you were long from this morning. Okay. Yeah, at this point, there's nothing to trade today for it. And here we go. Now, we talked about this one being rather close. So from where we were yesterday here, we kind of pulled down just a little bit and started to form a base. So funny, this is kind of what it looks like. There's one burst. Right? From where we were yesterday, right here, like this 1030 mark, there's your next burst, and look how close we are. So the question is, can we come up in base, and is Monday or Tuesday, actually, let me see. It's a good call. Let's check this out. Friday, Saturday, again, Bullard could absolutely jack this one up. Monday, manufacturing. Hello, George. The only piece of clear data is that we have high inflation. Thank you, George. Thank you. There's no clear narrative on growth prospects, right? We're operating in a tight economy. Broad-based nature of inflation is worrisome. I'm watching if persistently high inflation seeps into expectations. If it does, trade-offs become more costly. Faster supply growth unlikely to care of the inflation bomb. Yep. Supply could be slow. Recent U.S. productivity performance has been abysmal. Wow, that's a big word. Abysmal. Financial conditions have tightened considerably more this year, but clear more needs to be done. Abysmal. Wow. That's a big word. I like that. There's your abysmal performance. Look at that, going higher. So I think as much as I, as much as I want to say use caution, I feel like 150 is going to be the magic number for next week. I feel like there's more to go. Yeah, I'm going to have to say it right now. I think look, there we go. There's our burst, and our burst is over. Just like that. So how far are we? Let's see. 160. Ooh, 160. 160 away. Ooh, could this be like a Tuesday thing? Monday, Tuesday? Could we be tagging 150? Oh, I think so. Abysmal reminds of transitory. Nah, because I put it this way. Abysmal is like a definite. It's like a backwards thing. Transitory was kind of like forward looking. Like, I don't think, I think they're slightly different. But yes, it is. I would throw it into there, but it's not. She's basically saying what's already happened. Transitory was like what's coming, right? Yeah, it's going to go away soon. She's just saying it's been horrible lately, right? It's not going to be. If she says the upcoming forecast is abysmal, that's a little different too, right? Transitory is like one of those like fair balance statements. But again, they occasionally use big words, Ernest. I mean, who knew, right? So, yeah, but abysmal. Look at that, man. Abysmal. It's Abysmal Friday. Yeah, so I think 150 gets tagged next week. There's the forecast. You guys heard it here first. No, I'm not the first one that said it. There's plenty of people that are calling for 150. Maybe not next, maybe not that dead on, but yeah. It's abysmal. Wow. God, I love that she used that term, right? I mean, come on. It's abysmal. Yeah. All right. Cryptos, you can see that they rallied back again with dollar weakness, and now they're starting to fall back down again for any of you Bitcoin traders. Hey, look at this. There's a zone right here. If we don't bounce off of it, you got some room to run back down in the magical 19,000. So any of you crypto guys out there, again, not many left, but if there is, again, there could be some short-term selling in here. Again, a little bit of a, strong rally, basing sideways, and then a pop out the top. And we've tagged it now. Once those buyers are gone, it's a clear run back down. You can see there's another hiccup down at 19,000. So that's there. Very, very similar here. Again, this one not as far off to the 13,000 number. We're already starting to break through. May have a little pickback. Looks like 13,000 could be a target, and then a push down into this level right here. And then Dogecoin, it's below the 6. So, farthest away from the 19 magical number. And then Ethereum super, super close. And unfortunately, Doji is already below. And you're getting that basing level in here with a pop. And God, could this come back down to the 56, 57 range? Oof, it's there. It's close. TLT, nice little gap up. Again, with all that dollar weakness, parabolic move down. And look at this. How about this for a parabolic retracement? Smash down, pull back up, grab that level, and all the way back down again. That's rough for TLT. God, look at this. Channeling back and forth. I mean, again, I know not many of you guys out there are looking at them, but again, traditional options wise, I mean, talk about spreads. Just spreads, right? How's that for a spread? How's that for a spread? How's that for a spread? How's that for a spread, right? I mean, talk about a channel. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Look, boom, right there, right? Boom, there, right? And again, you could have traded that. Whoops, not that one. You could have traded almost all the way back down again, right? And then up on the channel again, and then down into the channel again. And in reality, it did hit. And again, it's an option, so it's not a big deal. It kind of made it about halfway back, right? And then again, today, it completed it and all the way back down again. Like, this is like ideal for spread trading, right? This is ideal. Like, put spreads are like, poof, awesome. I mean, put and call spreads, right? Right? But use spreads to lower the cost on it. Just insane. Awesome stuff there. If you guys don't know how to do those, I mean, they're it's a very, very basic option strategy, but massive. I mean, this potential is incredible. That's why I keep looking at it. All right, when you got nothing to say, use big words, right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I couldn't use Abysmal and get away with it, but, yeah. All right, so let's go and look at the commodities. Oil collapsing. And again, yesterday we mentioned a breakthrough of 87.61. And now the question is, do we hold? All right, so again, we have smashed into this 85.83. And again, there's kind of your little Harry Potter, the base, the pullback. Again, you could have adjusted more near term. And what I mean by more near term is find whatever the local basing level was. Not local is in close proximity. There it was right there. So base, drop, boom. There's your short position. 1 to 3 is right there. So we know that this is our target. So the big question is, what happens now? This would have been your downside target. So the question is, do we take a bounce now off on oil? Now, again, oil does close a little bit early. It is outside of its kind of normal range, right? Its daily range. Oh, this is one that it doesn't. So I don't know if you guys see this in the upper right-hand corner. Right, one of the members actually did this. This is it's a custom. I guess they're called scripts here, right? It is a custom script. He said, and actually, I think I need to update it one more time. But this is a custom script. If anybody would like access, he said that I could let other members have it, and then just shoot him a message about it. He put this on there, and again, instead of me having to switch the dailies to grab daily ATRs and things, he built a script in here where we can put this in a couple different places. Did an excellent job on it. It can go in the middle, the bottom, high, low, wherever you want. I like the upper right-hand corner because I typically don't look at price up there, but it gives us, again, there's a number of different options on it. Actually, do it if I double click on it. There we go. Some nice little options in here. So if you guys are looking for an ATR tool, again, one of our members has built this script inside of TradingView. Right, just so we have a little easier access to this. Now, again, it's off a little bit for oil, but again, it's meant more for indices. And then obviously here you can see pip conversion for FX, right? This one's a little bit off, right? It's only down 86 and it's like, woo, it's kind of huge. But you get a bunch of different options in here as well. So nice little tool. If anybody wants it, shoot me a message and I will just confirm with him. But right now with this guy tagging this level at 1030, is there a reversal here? I'd say you got to look at it and say, yes, this could absolutely be a reversal. Is it a long you want to get into? I think I'd be a little bit more cautious with it. The data today is not looking great. Driving these things, talking about recession, these should all be lowering factors. The fact that it already gave us a Harry Potter today, and this is kind of the exit, we really need it to base and start giving us a confirmation it's a bottom first. It's not a number 1 entry. It's more of a number 3, or at least a confirmation entry back higher. That's kind of the kind of the best you can do with it, right? Oops. Wait, what did I just do? All right, sorry. I was like, wait, what's going on? So any other time, yeah, reversal, but not when it's a target first. We need the base. We need the confirmation to turn and flip. All right, so hopefully you guys were able to grab the short of that one. Again, we talked about the break yesterday. I missed it by a little bit. I was like, all right, so here's the bottom. I like the bottom the way it's forming in. We're kind of getting this base, right? The 1030 candle was here. I missed it by a little bit, right? So I was talking about kind of this is where we'd be. Look how close I was. Well, I guess actually I hit it dead on, right? I'm pretty close. The candle open, here's the closed candle. There's the open candle. It actually closed just above it, right? So I missed it by just a little bit, but I was close, guys. I was really, really close. Right now, we did kind of just come back through again. It was not another trade and kind of got smashed through. And if you did want to Harry Potter it, there was kind of a little Harry Potter here, but a lot of chop back and forth. It was not on the radar. The original setup was the smash through that we talked about here. So we can pull it off. Right now, I would say for gold, I mean, I would not have said you should have taken it long here. This is kind of more the long entry and kind of the stabilization bottom on it. I'm so mad that I missed that one, though. I was so close. So close. Ugh, so close. Here's a question. Not that it matters because it already went past, but did kind of go up. All right, let's box this one out for next week. Oops, didn't want to move that one. Let's adjust that there. We got a clean rundown. Not clean, but let's see if we can get more of a silver collapse. Uh, 26. Yeah, so there's room to run for that one. I'm a little bit off on it, but that's okay. Okay. So it looks like break of 1640.71 down to 1628.06. Again, I'd like to see the base. Remember, this market does close early on a Friday. Kind of hoping that it rallies back up. I kind of wanted to do this right now. It's like, oh, just go here. Just go here. And then, where is it? Oh, it's Monday. Kind of looking at, kind of looking like that. That's what I want. Here, gap into there, base for a bit, and then Sunday in the Monday morning, drop all the way down. Is how I would draw that one. Yeah, I know, right? Hawkish anger. I love it. Hawkish anger. It's great. It's hawkish anger. Yeah. That's great. That needs to be a t-shirt. Hawkish anger. There we go. Hawkish anger. I love it. All right, so target was hit yesterday. Again, we rallied right back up again. Kind of came in close proximity to the 23.6, would not have triggered. Right now, this one's still, again, we weren't interested in taking shorts out of this one. We're looking for this one to come down to 18.13. Again, today or tomorrow. We can delete this now. We don't need it anymore. Pull that one off. You could extend this down if you really want. It's fine. But that was not a 23. Because if you go from the low here, it did not trigger. It was a 0 trigger. So I know that when I do this, everyone's like, oh, look at that, the 23. No. That's where the low was. It did not trigger. It left the station without you. It does come down now. So it is a level that we will mark off for later on, right? As being an area where there are potentials in there, because there will be some algorithms that throw that in. So right now, again, we're looking for this to come down. We may get some basing at 18.13. We'll see if we can get it bounced higher. All right, look at that. All the indices were in the green to start off the day. It was like, woo, today's looking good, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, that data came out and it just literally sandbagged it, just crushed it. So here, European Open, we kind of shot it down. Let's see what we got here. 830 sent us higher. Again, this is the problem. This is the problem with 8:30 releases. And actually, this is kind of wedged in between 8:30 and 10. So obviously, opening print is a little risky today. The 9:30, oops, let me drop this down to a 15 so we can get a better read on it. Yeah, I mean, here's the 9:30 sitting right here. It had already kind of turned. Now, you could have said, listen, there's our top, right? There's our top. There's our 9:15 candle. The 9:30 did come and grab it. So there could have been you could have said, hey, listen, we're already reversing off of news. And again, this is why we drop it down to a 15 here. Before I do this, the reason we drop it down to a 15 is because it's very, very hard to see with wicks. Again, here's the 9:30, but it's like what happened prior to that? What happened? I mean, technically it did push down and grab it, but we can't really draw the base. The reason why we use the 15 is because it gives us a little bit more clear, kind of refined look at it. As you can see here, we did have a top, and then it pushed down, and then it opened here, and what did it do? It came up and grabbed it and then continued. Because again, remember, to continue trend, you have to go and grab levels. So, this is one of those ones. Could you trade this one at news? Yeah, you could have. It did go down at base. You could have had a news burst out of this one. But I think today, it's actually more of an opening print than anything else. And your 1 to 3 was right there, which is perfect because the bottom side would have been sitting right here. Probably drawn it right there. That's where we would have drawn it. So again, that would have been an opening print one. That would have been just fine for today. All right. And funny enough, it turned right there. That's where it turned. So, yeah. Okay. 1-to-1 for entries on this one. You'd have been good there. And again, not surprised that it turned, but that's fine. Pull that off. And funny, we kind of drew this yesterday. Look at this. This kind of screenshot right here of up and then down. It went up and then down. Right? It was shorter, right? Let's see. This was really 5:30. So this one was a little more compressed. Instead of being this, it was this, right? It pushed it up for the open. And then in this case, the news is what drove it. This news drove it. Actually, I guess it pushed it down. It drove it down beforehand. Then the news drove it up right into the open for the next round of news and then pushed it down. So it looked very similar, right? Again, we talked about up and then down. I didn't think it would rally this high back up again, but yeah, it did. So I knew we would get a bit of a retracement yesterday. I didn't think we'd go that much higher. This was every short in the world screaming at this one higher. So yeah, opening print right there. You guys are good. NQ, let's see. 8. Yeah, this one pulled back. Look at this. There's your 8:30 candle. Actually, it, like I said, hit it. If you would have boxed it off there, right? So, yeah, this one didn't have anything. So opening print would have been nothing here. I mean, I guess it's the same. It's similar, but I think this one would have been a little bit, because it didn't really leave, a little bit harder of a trade. So could you have taken it? It's the same setup. What did it do? At 9:30, it pulled back up to grab those sellers up top. And the top of that formation is fine. I would have really liked if it pulled down just a little bit farther, if it was more of a gap, like this kind of candle. If this candle would have closed down here and then it did it, then yeah, I would have said that one. But this one is, I think, saying that this would have been an entry is kind of like hindsight is 2020, kind of cherry picking the data on that one. And that's just the open honesty about it. Yeah, it did the same thing, but it didn't quite have the distance on it. It worked, but I feel like that's really just kind of cherry picking it and be like, look, guys, it did it again. I don't think that's right to do. So had it closed at the low down here, then that's a little different story. But the fact that it pulled all the way up and again, I think that's kind of, I don't know. If you were super aggressive, sure. But I'm gonna say that's a no. Again, news wise, it did pull back. It drove right into that level and then was maintaining. So again, it was a news breakout. But as far as opening print, again, I'm not going to count it. Now this one was a little bit farther down, and it did not go as high. So again, skin of your teeth, that one went in. Again, you could have traded a breakout to the top side. Let's see, did this one go? 1, 2, and 3 is right there. So yeah, that would have been fine. So 2 for 2, 100% profit on that one as well. Right. And again, we're just hovering around that 30,000. That's going to be a big deal. People see below 30,000. It's like, whoa, right? Yeah, nothing else of that. So 2 for 2. Again, we're not counting the NQ. If you had taken it, it did work. You'd be 3 for 3 on profits, but I don't want to count it as far as the statistics go. And then Russell. Russell did the same thing. It pulled back right before the news. It came back down. It grabbed the base, right? Came back down and grabbed it. And again, we would have adjusted that there, right? Nice pop through. This one, again, by the same rationale, it did close at the bottom and then did pull back again. Looks like that. Right, it did pull all the way down and come back. So let's see if this one would have actually made it for its 1 to 3. I believe so. 1, 2, and 3 is right there. So yeah, so that's out. So 3 for 4 as far as entries go with the opening print strategy. All 3 of them are full out. If you had gotten very aggressive and taken the 4th one, you also would have hit your full profit target today. So again, worst case scenario, you only took 3 out of the 4. All 3 hit full profit target. Had you gotten aggressive and did take that 4th one, you also hit your full profit target for the day. All right. So that's pretty much it for today. Again, another nice opening print. There's a lot of Sunday trades kind of set up. Like I said, I think Waller speaking today, Macklin speaking at 4 is always interesting. Whoa. Daily, and remember, we're starting to be in the daily camp. I'm starting to really like daily, right? Mindful about making sure inflation doesn't become embedded. 100% agree, but I think it's already embedded. We're not going to go backwards, I don't think. We'll stop raising rates when appropriate, and then we'll hold it for a while. That's them talking. And what this means, just so you guys know, what this means right here is everybody's talking about a rate cut in 2023. I think that's basically her telling you, and we've already heard other people say it, we're not cutting rates in 2023. That's with this holding it for a while, because again, she's trying to make sure it gets back. We can correct our course if needed. 4.5% to 5% is most likely top Fed funds rate. Then we'll hold it there. That is putting us right around the what? That's 2.75 raises, right? That's literally smack in the middle, because right now it's going to be a 0.75. It's going to bring us to 4. And then if they do another 0.75, that puts us at 4.75. Smack in the middle of her range. So basically saying she's guaranteed to put in at least a 0.5. They're not putting in a 1%. I'll tell you that right now. They're not doing a 1%. But it looks like by the end of the year, we could get up to 4.75. Those poor mortgage people. The Fed summary of economic projection is not out of date, is an excellent policy tool. U.S. data policy strongly suggests further rate hikes. Agree. We need to slow GDP growth substantially. Yeah. If necessary, we can alter our course. Yes, you can. I agree with that one. But I'm telling you, if we're talking about the next people in, I think Bullard comes in and you make him the big cheese. And then I think you give Daly VP right behind, because she's starting to come around and starting to kind of follow through. I think I'm sorry, Bernard, but again, her statements are not this impactful. I think you send Bullard in, she becomes VP, and then she takes it over after Bullard. Really liking what she's saying here. So again, getting to be a fan. Yeah, like it. Feds cook. Who? The labor market is very strong. Yes, we know. We know. Yep. It remains stubbornly and unacceptably high. Core inflation has been surprisingly strong. Not for me. Bottleneck easing, ex-gas prices. Yep. Broad inflation prices suggest economy is very tight. Don't care. None of this is. These are just statements. None of those matter. But Daly nailed it out of the park. Love this. Go Daly. All right, let's do the drawing. All right, so Eki won yesterday. It is Friday, though, so understand that Eki's got that extra juice today. I didn't put the juice in. It's just, you guys know how it works on Fridays. So let's close it down. Let's see who takes it to end out the week. Can Eki double up again, or are we going to take some of them? Look, we got a little bit of extra sway in here, right? Winner of today's drawing is Debbie. Look at that. Debbie takes it today. Look at that. She gets 33 and she takes it all on the same day. Only 10% chance of winning too, Debbie. Debbie got the juice, right? Debbie got the juice today, and she was talking yesterday about how Neuro's starting to get close. Well, best way to make sure that he doesn't stay close, Debbie, is to keep winning, because Neuro spent an extra 10 today over what you did. So he lost more than you did, and you gained. So you're plus 35 today on Neuro. Way to go, Debbie. Way to go, Debbie. All right, with that said, the tamarind juice. Sour. All right. Yeah, and you know what? And Ernest, you know what makes me mad about this statement right here? She's talking about, ex gas prices. I still am not happy with the meat prices. Do you know yesterday I was in Safeway. I brought the kids in. Melissa needed candy, so I had to buy her candy. I was over there looking at rib prices still, and I was like, heck no. What is this rib prices? Like $5.99 a pound for ribs? No, I'm not doing that. Like, come on. My kids are like, Dad, we have ribs. I'm like, no, I'm not paying double. They were like $2.99 before. Like, forget this gas thing, right? Where are my rib prices? Come on. So mad, but I know you can appreciate, meat prices. So that's why I brought it up. Anyway, with that said, I'm out of here. You guys have a great trading day today. Have a great and safe weekend. I will catch you guys next week, Monday morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. You guys take care. Yeah, I know. They haven't come. Zero, Ernest. Zero have they come down, right? It can't be the shipping because gas prices have come down. It's called greed. Greed and vegetarians. That's what I'm telling you right there. It's all right. You'll laugh at this, Ernest. Oh, it's hunting season now, so like all my local, like I have a couple kids that have gotten deer this year. Not my kids, but kids on my team. And all the parents are posting things like Beyond Meat Burger ingredients, and it's like a list of like 25 things that you only know what one or two of them are, like water. I know what water and soy. The rest of the other 25 ingredients, I have no idea. And then it says venison, only ingredient, deer. So loving the hunting memes in the fall. So, all right, with that said, I'm out of here. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see you guys next week.